What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to MoonTime with C. I am C, and this will be your virtual yoga and wellness studio. I wanted to create a space for the individual who says that yoga seems cool, but I'll never set foot in a yoga studio. For the person who says, yeah, yoga seems cool, but nobody that looks like me practices this. For the person who says that yoga looks good, but yoga looks fun, but I can't afford to go to a studio constantly. This is a space for you. This will be a space of yoga, health, wellness, and community. So thank you for clicking on the channel. Thank you for joining the family. And so, yeah, a little bit about myself. I am a 200-hour trained instructor in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been practicing for about the past 5 to 6 years. And I found yoga at a really rough patch in my life, right? So I just had a really bad car accident, and I found myself almost unemployed, physically unhealthy, mentally unhealthy, depression, anxiety, all kind of things going through my head, just mental health. I was in mental disarray. And when I finally got back into the real world, once my body finally started recuperating, and I got back to work, this beautiful lady at my job came in with one free token, a token to a free class. She gave me a token to take a free class here in Nashville. And I said, so many thoughts went through my head, right? I was like, I don't look like anybody in the class. I won't know what's going on. I won't be able to keep up. All kinds of things were going through my head. As soon as I set foot in the studio, I walked through the door. Everything in my head was screaming, no, 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 don't do this. Go home. This is not for you. But something in my heart said, stay right there, stay on your mat, and you're going to fall in love with this. And I did. I fell in love with it once I finally was able to quiet all of the thoughts in my head. I was finally able to get through the class and the practice, and I found my first final savasana. I was in love with yoga. And about, let's see, about 3 years later, 3 to 4 years maybe, time is relative, so I'm not really good at keeping up with it. But about 3 to 4 years later, I found myself teaching. I took a 200-hour I took a 200-hour training here in Nashville, met some of the most amazing women I've ever met in my life, some of the most amazing stories I've ever heard in my life, and I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about my own personal growth, my strengths, my weaknesses, but how I turn those weaknesses into strength. So I learned so much about myself, and here we're ready to share that practice. I'm ready to share that practice with a person who says that they can't do yoga or that thinks that yoga is not for them. Is where we're here to stop all of those thoughts and dialogues in your head. Okay, so what's Moontime with C? Why did we decide to go with that name? So we decided to go with the name Moontime with C primarily based off of a running joke with a group of friends. It's reflective of what my practice has been to me over the past 5 to 6 years. Okay, it's been a really personal journey, a time for me to look inward, to really process the things that are going on in my life right now, things that have gone on in the past, things that I want to go on in the future. It's been a really deep time of introspective and journey. And to add on to that, in the spiritual practice of yoga and spirituality and things like that, the moon is used to represent that left side of the body that we don't necessarily share with the world, that nurturing side of the body, but also that sensitive, emotional side of the body that we don't really let anyone else tap into, right? So if you're doing astrology and you find that you have a moon in Aquarius or something to that effect, that's how you take that sign and then you apply that to how you handle your emotions, how you handle that deeper, darker side of you. And not to say dark as in a bad thing, but dark as in the side of you that you just don't necessarily share with the world. The sun comes up, you can see everything around you, right? But when the moon shines at night, you see the light of the moon, the stars, and you're literally left with yourself. So Moontime would see. And also, to add on to that, into a physical practice, water is oftentimes used as a conduit to invoke spirits. Water is used to evoke emotion, and spirit. I already said that, but water is used to evoke spirit and emotion, right? So you see us pouring libations to the spirits or to the ancestors. You see us having baptisms in church, or we use water as representative of a refreshed or a new spirit. Water is used as a cleansing tool, right? So, with that being said, when you think about the moon and that the main effect of this planet that entity has is on the ocean tides, is on the rivers and the seas, and about 70% of the Earth's planet. Okay, so if the moon has an effect on the Earth's planet, 70% of the Earth's surface, which is water, you're made up of 70% water. That moon also has an effect on us. But the moon is used is representative of spirit, emotion, that side of us that we don't necessarily share with the rest of the world. Okay, so that's how we came up with Moon Time with T, representative of my practice, and just it's been just an emotional journey. All right, so boom, first thing first. Um, the first thing that I want to unpack is what exactly is yoga. The true transcription, definition, whatever words you want to use to say what something means. The definition of yoga means the union. The definition of yoga is union. But union of what? Union of body, union of spirit. So you take the two of those and you come together. So that's to say that this body that you walk around in, that you carry with you each and every day, that body is nothing more than a shell. Okay, that body carries the spirit, is eternal and ever present. This body carries that spirit around through space and time. So through yoga, we practice the union of that body, that outer shell, with the spirit. We bring those two together through asana, through breath work, through practice, through flowing through emotions. We bring those two together. So the definition of yoga is union. So um so the first myth that keeps coming back around full circle is that I have to be skinny or flexible to do yoga. You got to be able to put your foot over your heads and all that stuff. No, I'm a joke. Okay. So got to be to be able to do yoga. Lies. Okay. I told myself when I first walked in and I took my very first class that I look like nobody else in here. But that didn't make my practice any different. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make my practice any different than anyone else's here. That doesn't make my practice weaker or stronger just because I have a different type of body. So um, skinny and flexibility, it comes with a constant practice. I would say yoga makes us more aware of the habits that we practice with our body. It makes us aware of breathing into those different joints, breathing out of those different ligaments to support inflammation, fluid retention, and the breath work helps us to flow through those different things. Yeah. The myth number 2 is that there's only one type of yoga. So to go back to what we said before, if there are so many different types of bodies, so many different types of shells carrying so many different spirits around the world, why would we think that there's only one type of yoga? So there are ancient practices like Ashtanga. You have Yin yoga, ancient Kemetic yoga. Then you have Vinyasa style yogas. You have Hot 26, hot yoga, cold yoga, goat yoga, dog yoga. You have crawl up the wall yoga, lay in the middle of the floor yoga. It's literally so many different types of yoga. Whether it's just sitting in a meditation for 5 to 6 minutes each day, whatever yoga appeals to your body is what yoga is. That's the yoga for you, and we're going to unpack all of those, or at least the majority of those, on the channel. So um the last myth is that ain't no workout. And I love when I hear people say that. It's solely it's not to give me the chance to abuse or beat up on somebody in the class, but it's to show that we can lift all the weights in the gym, we can run all the miles on the treadmill or around the city, but once you finally tune and tap into that body to breathe into the muscles, that's when you realize, that's when your body is able to really appreciate all the work that you've done with it. So it's more than just a physical workout, but it's also a mental workout as well. So MoonTime with C,